Welcome guys to another SEA Games group stage matchup. This time, it's gonna be some ZBT action. Vietnam versus Thailand. Let's introduce our players. First things first, here on the bottom right of Nightshade, we are gonna have the blue Terran of Prasotwit, aka Thailand's StriKE. We did impress recently in WSJ, has been on the uprise, has been overall honestly been one of the mainstays of the Thai scene, playing that Terran. Always good to see a Terran in the cards. Some people say actually, for back in the day, people really went away from Terran because it was very difficult in terms of latency, in terms of trying to keep up network and hardware wise, to keep up with the micro, to keep up with like stairs, with drops, with everything, the sieges. And it's always good to see a Terran. Like, it's not my race, it's not what I play, but it is a lot of fun. It is a very classic thing in StarCraft 2. And in the meantime, here in the top left, his opponent is going to be that red Zerg of Asura. So we are going to be on Nightshade, ladies and gentlemen. Turn on that music. You always want to have a little bit of that Terran music going on into our game. Enjoy those riffs. But in the meantime, we're gonna have that Reaper being pumped on out. You know, it's a little bit tit for tat. Sometimes I want music, sometimes I don't. It really does depend. It does change the mood a little bit, but also does drown things out, as you can see in a few productions that we know of. Anyway, the command center now gonna be getting that satellite dish. It's time to order a little bit of that signal. In the meantime, though, Reaper always going to be good for that early harassment. Here on the flip side, though, it's going to be pull first here for Asura. Hi, going to be sending those out already. SCV deciding to back on out. Try to get on a way in instead. And look for that second base. Going to be transitioning on in a situation where he wants to get more and more resources. Playing that macro game. He did go for pull first, so he will be able to get an early queen. Might be able good to deal with this Reaper. As the Zerg decided to go for the chase down, but they don't have the wings as of yet. They're not ready to go. They're not awake or anything. And it's now the time to go for some hits yet again. Will Prasotwit get a takedown onto two Zerglings for free? Here we go with the chase. And that little doggy is going to go home, and gonna go down. Asura making a big mistake already, losing those two Zerglings for free, getting no information whatsoever. The Overlord has to be on it instead. And interesting enough, it's gonna be early roaches. Was that because he lost those Zerglings, or was he just gonna? Is he really gonna go for a two-base all-in with the Roach Ravager situation? But this is a pretty early his transition into roaches. Not going into Lair Tech rather as of yet, and is simply on one gas. So maybe these are just early roaches looking to go on the offsets. Be a little bit of a hamper, force Prasotwit to play the defensive. Now the real question is, what will he do? Will he go for early Marauders just to help on outs? Or can he just defend with Marines and a Reaper? Seems like that's the case. It's going to be a bunker on the flip side. Still trying to get more production though, more Marines being pumped in. And the Roaches though are knocking on his doorstep, looking to go for the attack already. Looking to deal with that SCV, there we go with the cancel. Oh, the Marine does go down, so only one of them is on the inside. The other two are SCVs instead. There we go with the pull. At his desperate times here for Prasotwit. He has to get these SCVs waiting on idle mode, waiting to defend, waiting to repair this bunker, but the Roaches just being pesky instead. And it seems like it's not as desperate as you would think. Hi. Not going for the push, not really going for it. 400 HP, a little too much for these roaches to handle. And there are no real waves following up. So interesting push here from Hai. He sends him 3 roaches, and that's the show, I guess. An opening act here for the Red Zerg. Gonna decide to go into a 4 extractors immediately. Now we see what the Roach Ravagers are coming into. Lair Tech looking to come online as well. There has to be Reconstitution allowing these roaches to move even faster. And creep spread might be a must here for our Red Zerg. In the meantime though, it is still gonna be our Terran StriKE looking around. The Queen spotting at the SCV, telling him to get out of dodge. The other Queen deciding, no, I'm gonna feast on that. We do see a bunch of larva already idle here. The lair gonna be looking to get from upgrades. Interesting enough, we'll go for metabolic boost first, and at the same time we'll transition into a Spire. So 4 gas to get up for Mutalisk probably. Look to get into 3 bases as well, but you would think that, you'd think he would want to go roaches instead. He already started on it, and he's building more, so interesting decision making here from Asura. You know, I may be wrong, or not. I'm just trying to understand the thought process here for our Red Zerg. He went for early roaches, he used it to defend against a Reaper, He forced the bunker out, and is that the show? But then again, sure, this is now gonna be StriKE deciding, okay, I'm expecting roaches, I'm expecting a big wave, and he is gonna go for some more gas. He will try to get some little more mechanical units along the way. Vikings, though, are pumped out to deal with the Overlords. Interesting enough, he is going to go for a second. They can help out a little bit on the ground, but they aren't really the best unit as of yet. Still, though, armory now being built. This might be a transition into heavier mech. Can go for some Hellion run on buys. Turn them into Hellbats if you need them in front. Still, though, oh, he is supply block, so he should be keeping up with his macro on. Supply depots are important, guys, and there you go. He's gonna be using them to build the wall instead. Now, this is a little bit of a double-edged sword. Sure, they're very efficient, they're very effective, and they have that up and down function at the same time, so they really act as doors. But if many of your supply depots are in front and you are more or less at the brink of being supply blocks, if this goes down, you have to build supply depots now in behind or use energy instead to try and get the call supplies on. Interesting enough, this one Marine looking to bully the balloon. It seems like the roaches have had enough. We are going to see some mutas here and now. And this is an interesting hybrid comp here from Asura. Viking, though, will get cornered. Will it get taken down? There you go. Into Blaze of Glory. 3 hatcheries are online as well. So 3 base muta isn't the worst, exactly what you want to do in the build. But usually you have Zerglings as the complementary unit because roaches cost gas, cost more money. And if you turn into Ravagers, that's even more gas on the way. But Banelings, there you go. Want to get that movement speed. You do see the missile turret already set on up. Good timing here from StriKE. Does he actually know his Spire is coming? Yes, he does. He saw it a while ago in production. Interesting enough, Asura playing the microgame pretty well. He's using the refinery to bounce it off to the SCVs. Vikings, though, looking to get in position. Mutalisk just so pesky right now. Glaive Worms probably stuck in your pants. And now the Siege Tank might be under the rest. One Muta does go down, so the handful loses a finger. 10 to get the Viking this time. Trying to get on back yet again. The DPS, though, of the missile turret. Good repairs here and now from Prasachwit. Will force these Mutalisks to regenerate instead. Slow and Steady wins the race. Come on, this one Muta can't be in front. That's going to be easy takedown there for Frey. High, not doing well. And here comes the Thunder, because the Tor is out and about. Now the Thor having a little bit of those upgrades in terms of the patch, that extra DPS against the bigger targets in the air, and you can always get that smart service to allow him to transition in the 2 modes. But for now, the missiles dealing with the mutas very, very effective. And in this day and age, I feel like Thors aren't the best ground-wise. Like, they're really good, sure, but there might be better situations, better aspects, better things. And like, you go BC. BC is really cool if you are in that tech tree, but if you are heavy in mech already, Thors are really that unit you want to have. Just mix it up with your siege tanks because they can't be the front line. The Cyclones aren't front line. Hellbats sure can be front line, but at the same time, you want to have something that really puts in the 1 to the 2 punch compared to the left jab, right jab, a little bit of that poke action that the Hellions are known for. And come on, you want to have a compressed robot. It's so cool. It's always cool to have that robot. Into the behind we go. Those drones just torn apart by those twin fusion cannons. Here we go with the Zerglings trying to get this around. Good load here. Medevac's deciding to afterburner away. And speaking of burners, here we go with some blue flame. This will allow Prasachwit to try and get some Hellion harassment going. He is already looking to set on up yet again. And with the armory in set in his base, he can easily transition to Hellbats at any point in time. Transform that one out. +1 already here for vehicles. At the same time, we are getting +2 for melee and +1 for range. So High still more or less in this scenario that he's trying to figure out what build is he actually going to go for. Interesting enough, we are going to see Corruptors in the air, but there isn't really much air units here for Prasachwit so far besides those Medivacs, so this is going to be the Corruptors looking to focus fire onto those healers instead. Here comes the Tentacles, and can the Medivacs get on the way? Seems like it is the case. Siege Tanks though in position. Here we go, looking for a surround. Hellbats though out in front. One Thor does go down. Attack them to try and get closer, but the Siege Tanks are just packing too much of a punch. The Medivac as well saving that one Thor, looking to get it out of dodge. And the Vikings winning out the fight onto the Corruptor. The Terran gonna be able to stand on this hill and just go in with the blue and whites, defending well here on Nightshade. So yeah, High just overextending there. He could have played it slow, played a little bit of that bile action. Maybe keeping his flyers alive would give him some more vision. Like an Overseer in Oversight mode might help him out to figure out where to actually bile. But even just one shot from the Siege Tank will expose it already. It's not the best movement there from High. He does still have that economic advantage with that 3 base, looking for a 4th as well. But StriKE, it has been chasing after, especially with those mules, keeping the mineral tab pretty even. Still though, casual corruptor, interesting. What is this for? I would expect him to actually go into Greater Spire very soon, get that hive tech going as well. But still, he is going to be staying on with the Roach Ravager Harass, really trying to choke his opponent out. But with these 3 bases, the Terran Dominion is going strong so far. They finally find the expansion, they find the movement that they're looking for. And speaking of movement, the Tor, yet again, being pesky, looking for some takedowns. And honestly, if these Overlords are just clumped up, maybe the Thor can get even more value going for the supply block. Still though, StriKE deciding, okay, let's plug up some leaks. They'll only allow 1 entrance here and now into the front. At the same time though, in terms of units, we are going to see some roaches, some banelings. It's a mixed match of a medley, honestly. It's like a seafood, it's like a fruit medley here and now. StriKE is still focusing on with that mix 11 siege tanks. That's actually looking scary here for our blue Terran. Anyway though, scenic route here and now for the Hellions, looking to try and get through the grass. Someone was told me the grass was greener on the other side. Can the medevac though get on away? The Thor! Will it land on down? He knows the fight is over. And this is the last stand here and now. Too much to handle. But this might be an opening here and now for StriKE to get into the middle line on this 3rd base instead. Big flame! Just burning those poor drones down. And at the same time, this is what I've been talking about. He does have +1 in Carapace, but this blue flame packing such a punch. When you decide to go for the attack upgrades first, oh, the Hellions gonna get caught. There you go with the Zerglings trying to go for the surround. They do so eventually. But as I was saying, not having enough of his Carapace, the Hellions pack too much a punch, and it really is gonna be High looking to push forward. He still has the advantage though. In terms of upgrades, he has more of the numbers in his favor, especially with his hybrid composition. And now the Zerglings, the Banelings, the Corruptors, the Ravagers as well. They catch up SCVs in mid-transition. And a many like this, you would expect someone like Cyril to go for it. But I do believe he does go Muta instead of Corruptor. It really depends though on what the matchup is. And Corruptor sure isn't the worst, but you would like them to actually go for the attack at any point in time. And finally, we are seeing what the Corruptors can turn into. Hive Tech is going to be up and about here for a Hive, but he's walking into the shield battery. He's walking into the shielded area, rather, of the shock cannons from those siege tanks. The Vikings as well, cleaning up the area yet again. What happened to these Corruptors? Seems like they're not even going for any of these Vikings. It's just a battery assault, a creeping barrage. It's just completely shielded by the Zone of Liberation, by the Siege Tank Rage. Way too much here now for High to actually try and penetrate this. He is actually going behind. And at the same time, Hellions yet again going for the crispy, juicy, absolutely delicious delicacy that is known to be the Zerg drones. Hellions yet again trying to get in behind. Will he actually transform these ones into Hellbats? Maybe it's time to get out of dodge. Look to get on the way. Off creep already. Time to run away. This one Zergling desperate to get a nip in the bud. But the Hellions able to stay alive, and another big hit here from StriKE. He defends in the front. He gets the natural. He gets rather the hamper on the economic line onto the 3rd expansion, as well as that 2nd. So both sides, the 3rd base and the 4th base, are going to be under the rest. We do see spine crawlers here and now though for his forward base. His command center looking to land already, gonna get stopped. You would think that these Zerglings know. The Zerglings apparently been blocking. Yes. 2nd expansion, big hit. Left, right, and center. Still though, Corruptors looking to push forward. StriKE in position yet again. And these sensor towers really allowing the Terran to mobilize in a proper spot. Really is StriKE, striking at the heart. You can say that he's a little bit of a ranger in terms of knowing where to go. And as we were saying, another expansion going to the flames. Spinecrawler sure gets some kills, but still not enough. Liberator as well, hassling, dealing with the natural. This is way too much being done here by StriKE already. He's defending so well, and he's hampering the economy. If this goes on, High will run out of money, and it already looks like he has run out of those minerals. Potentially, by this point in time, this is the show here for our Red Zerg. So difficult right here, right now. We are gonna get Burrow, interesting enough. What is this for exactly? Can sure get Tunneling Claws, maybe? But by this point in time, we are gonna see the Broodlord transition. And what I would love to see from High would be the Festers, but he doesn't really go for the upgrades. He's not going for Parasite. He's not going for that extra energy to get a free fungal at the start. And this is very, very precarious here. And now for Red Zerg, he had a good start with the aggression. But in the end, you know, it really just never panned out for him. He wasn't able to really decide on what to do while connecting onto that one siege tank behind the rocks. That's all he's gonna get, and Hyde deciding, okay, it's time to hightail it out of here. Hide behind the rocks. Broodlord's out in front, and the Vikings having a field day there. Now the Corruptors cannot shoot the air because they have turned into the Flyers. The scary, scary angry faces could hold the Broodlords. And with the hatchery working in overtime, we see some more drones yet again. The Hellions trying to penetrate, trying to go into that middle line. Not gonna happen. Corruptors lagging behind. Viking getting some free hits. The Thors as well backing a punch. And as I was saying, you want to get these infestors to just make these Thors fight each other. It's a big deal, because the cannons, which one will he use? In this instance, he wants to get that bigger one. It has been enough to have a higher DPS because of the higher rate of fire. Sure, a little less damage, but it overall allows 2 more shots than 1. Basically, though, the siege tanks trying to get in position yet again. The creeping barrage coming ever so closer. The Corruptors forced back on out. Queen's out in front, not doing your job. He's gonna die for the swarm instead. And now the siege tanks feeling confident. They're not even the siege on in yet again. Thors though, one will go down. Ravagers desperate to try and get the hit. Corruptor gonna be the target right here right now. Boom goes the dynamite. It just blows up. And GG is called. Prazerchwit taking that victory. Mech wins games. And Mech has really had these upgrades in these latest patches. Bio is always an option. Bio is based on your preference, but it has turned also Mech can be a preferential thing as well. And StriKE taking that win, taking the lead in their series. So I feel like Asura, just go for the Mind Freak, man. Take those stars away from your opponents.